Welcome everybody to the Tim and Nancy Danter YouTube channel. My name is Tim Danter, and today we are going to be talking about reverse dollar cost averaging out. And who else better than the friend of the community, Nate Polmateer, to help us understand this. Nate has been a guest on our show. He is an active member of the community, all around really good guy. And it's a real pleasure to have Nate on the channel. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Nate in, and we are going to talk about reverse dollar cost averaging, which in these times is going to be really, really important, isn't it, Nate?
Absolutely.
Welcome to the show. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Thanks for having me. And hopefully you guys don't have to pause the video too much because I'll probably try to go through this as fast as I can so that this isn't an hour-and-a-half long show.
You're good. You're good. And Nate, just to let you know, I have brought up your presentation as well. So you are ready to go when you are prepared.
All right. Awesome. So reverse dollar cost averaging. This is a well-known term, and I'm just going to kind of bring you guys into it a little bit. So the method I'd like to tell you is different from actual reverse dollar cost averaging. Normally, dollar cost averaging in reverse is selling at a set amount of shares each month or each week to get out of a position. So we're going to work with that, but I'm going to change it up a little bit for you guys so that you guys can, navigate these turbulent waters right now. So I'm going to go through a few points here, what it's not, what it is, when you should or if you should, and how you're going to execute this reverse dollar cost averaging. And feel free at any point in time, Tim, to jump in or ask questions or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, okay, awesome. So what it's not. So timing the market. It's not timing the market. First off, no one can time the market. Although we have like all these tools that we can use, whether it's RSI, moving average, those are tools to kind of give us outward possible scenarios. They're not perfect, but they do help us. So what I want you to know is reverse dollar cost averaging is not timing the market. It's not foolproof. You're not going to sell at the top like you want to, and you're not going to buy at the bottom. So reverse dollar cost averaging is actually going to help you facilitate not having to worry about selling at the top or trying to buy at the bottom.
Well, that's really important too. Sorry to just interrupt there too, because I think it was Tim Perry last night on the stream had said it's really tough to time the top and it's really tough to time the bottom. So it's just a matter of you've got to have a plan.
100%, Tim. This is not the end all and be all of strategies. Although there might be some that might think that this is like, you can't do anything else but dollar cost average. But I just want to get that out there that this isn't the end all. And I'm not portraying that in this video that this is the end all, but I just want to walk you guys through what it is. And what it's not is a long-term strategy. It's actually more of a short to mid-term strategy. And what I mean by that is if you're investing over 20, 30 years, you're probably not going to use reverse dollar cost averaging until you're in retirement. But you can really use this really well for a short-term strategy. And by short-term, I mean between 1 month and 6 months, or a mid-term strategy, which is more like between 6 months and maybe even a year or 2 years. All right.
Perfect.
So what is it? Well, it's clear cut. It's really this mathematical approach that's pre-planned. That's about it. It's a plan. So a plan, when you start your position, you're going to know that you want to hit certain marks. So this isn't something that after you've already been in for a while, you're like, oh, maybe I should do this. Although you can work that way, but it best works out if you pre-plan this. Like, okay, I want to start a position in company A or crypto A, and I'm going to get out at said intervals. So it's really a plan. It's an exit strategy to help you stay calm. So a lot of times when money or stocks or Bitcoin is just like skyrocketing, we get paralyzed and we're like, oh, I don't know what to do. It's going up. It's going up. You're telling all your friends. You're like, man, I bought whatever it is. I bought some theta yesterday and it's already up 1,500%. I don't know what to do. Should I hold it all? Should I sell some of it? And you guys see this like in different Facebook groups and in different Discord channels. Like everyone is asking, when should I sell? Should I sell now? Should I not sell? Should I? And then later on, when you do sell, people say, oh, you shouldn't have sold. Like it's, so this is that exit strategy to help you stay calm.
That is so true, because especially for folks in the community and those people who are watching this video, is that if you're new to this, the level and intensity of FOMO and FUD is much more intense than it is for someone who has gone through it a couple of times.
Absolutely. And you know what? A lot of people start actually thinking about these strategies without a plan when things start to go sour.
Yep.
So they're like, oh, should I start selling now? It's going down really fast. Meanwhile, when it's going up like to the moon, everyone is like partying, high-fiving, yeah, yeah, and no one's thinking of an exit strategy. But it should actually be the exact opposite. Absolutely. And big guys like Warren Buffett and like that, they say those exact things, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And lastly on this, what is it? It's a way of taking profit. So don't be afraid to take profits. Some people can be afraid of that. But if it's a short-term or mid-term position, don't be afraid to take some profit. And with that note, don't think back on your previous move, because this can also paralyze you and like just completely take over your mind. And what I mean by that is, man, I can't believe I sold Bitcoin at 65,000 and now it's 84. And then you just dwell on that and dwell on it. And that's not a good place to be either.
And again, that's a newbie fault, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You just have to own the moves you made and be okay with that, right?
Yep.
So when should you, or should you use this method at all? So if you're looking at a position that you don't want to be in it for the long term, so a short term or mid-term position, then I would say, yes, this is a great way for you to set a target to dollar cost average out. And what do I mean by a target? Well, a target could be, all right, I'm going to get into Bitcoin, and as soon as it hits 5% gain, I'm going to start pulling money out. And set that amount that you want to pull out. Okay, I'm going to pull out, I'm going to invest $1,000, and as soon as it hits 5%, I'm taking out $200. And then if it hits another 5%, I'm taking out $300. And execute that. So it could be a price target, it could be a percentage target, or it could even be a length of time. It could be, okay, I'm going to invest in this stock for 6 months, but each month throughout that 6 months, I'm going to take out 1/6 of my investment regardless. So this, and I'll talk a little later how this could be a bad thing to do, but why this is a good thing is it really takes out the thought process. And you really just have to stick to your guns. And you can reassess what you've done and be like, but still put a plan in place. Don't second guess every move, or again, you're gonna paralyze yourself. So when you should also do it is you're looking at retiring soon. So people actually dollar cost average out in retirement. I'm not sure if anyone actually knew that, but once you get to retirement and you change your RRSP from an RRSP to a RIF, a retirement income fund, you're actually going to be reverse dollar cost averaging out of that slowly, whether that be $1,000 a month or whatever.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, right?
I never thought of that. Oh dear.
Come on, Tim, you got to get on board.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm getting a little, a little gray around the ears.
Okay, when should you not? When you're looking at an investment strategy over years. And this is more of a value investment. So let's say you're like, you know what, I want to hit a goal of 1 Bitcoin. And I'm going to hold on to that Bitcoin for 20 years. If in the first year that Bitcoin goes up by 800%, you're still sticking to your strategy. I'm investing over a long term. I'm not going to start dollar cost averaging out of this because this is a long-term investment. There's other factors that can play into that. If all of a sudden the company folds up or something like that, then yes, you need to start getting out of it. But As long as you're investing in companies that are long-term and that are valuable and that are just going to keep growing every year, then don't dollar cost average on it. So that's when you shouldn't really dollar cost average. You guys keeping up with us on this one so far? You still there, Tim?
I'm here. Sorry, I had myself on mute. Remember the age. Remember gray around the ears, you know?
All right. So you guys, you keeping up with this so far? Everything seems...
It's great. No, it's good.
Okay.
Good stuff.
All right. So how to execute this strategy. So there's plenty of examples of this, guys. Really, if you just do a quick Google search of reverse dollar cost averaging, how do I do this? There's plenty of steps that you could walk through. I'll give you guys even just a simple one for Bitcoin. Let's say you put in $1,000 when BTC is at $65,000. You're going to decide every $3,000 that Bitcoin goes up, you're going to pull out $300. So 65,000, it goes up to 68,000, you pull out $300. It goes up to 71,000, you pull out $300. You just keep doing that until basically you don't have any funds in there anymore. That's why this is a really good short-term strategy. Now, short-term doesn't mean a day or a week. It's a bit longer than that, or else what you can get caught in is just watching graphs and watching the candles, and you'll have a heart attack.
Oh yeah.
And you'll second guess yourself every single second, especially with crypto. It's just like it goes up like crazy and drops like crazy in just seconds, right? So step one, purchase your asset with a target for when you're going to dollar cost average out. So figure out what that asset is. Is it going to be something in crypto? Is it going to be a token? Is it going to be a coin? Is it going to be a stock? Whatever it is, figure out what you're buying. That's your first start. And set that target like we talked about earlier, whether that's percentage gain, whether that's price movement, whether that's the length of time you hold it. All right? So your second step, you're going to pull that trigger. You're going to pull the trigger on the sale and follow your plan through no matter how you feel once you hit that target. All right? You might hit that target really soon. You might buy Bitcoin and say, you know what, I'm going to sell every 10%. And it goes up by 33% the first day. Okay, well, sell your 10% like you said you were going to. And then when it moves up, after you've hit that target, when it moves up another 10%, sell that extra 10% again. And keep doing that. And then your last step is as you hit each mark, just keep pulling the trigger until you no longer have anything in that position. Now, some people might be like, you know what? I just want to get my capital back. And that's perfectly fine. But you need to know that in your first step. My plan is to sell out and then ride the wave later. So I'm going to sell out all my capital at certain set marks, and then I'm going to ride it out. And just keep to that plan. That's the biggest thing, is just keep into your plan.
So let me just ask a question there just before you go on. Did I misunderstand something there to say that whatever your initial investment was to take it out in step one?
No.
Okay.
No. So first step is your first step is to actually is to figure out what you're going to do.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So, okay, I'm going to invest in Tesla, and I'm going to keep it for a year, and every 3 months, I'm going to take out 33%.
Okay.
That's initial. So your initial investment of $1,000, every 3 months, you're going to take out 33%. Now, 33% of what the total is, right? So if your stock was up by $3,000, your first time, you're going to take out $1,000, and you would actually get your capital all back, right?
Right.
Immediately.
Right.
So,
okay.
Does that make sense?
Got it.
Any other questions?
No, good.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So is DCA, is dollar cost averaging the way to go? So I found a quote. It says the only advantages that would be preserved from conventional dollar cost averaging are that reverse dollar cost averaging would provide a disciplined framework for selling the position, thereby helping the investor avoid the temptation to time the market. So instead of selling out of the entire position all at once, only to see the share price climb sharply the next day, you'd be stretching out the sale over a longer time frame and reduce volatility. So that is the driving point of this, everyone. That's the driving point, that this really is a framework. I love working in frameworks. I'm totally attention deficit and like go squirrel brain all the time. This keeps me grounded, helps me when I want to get out of a position. I already know what my plan was, and I'll just slowly move out of it. So at the end of the day, is it for you? It's not for me to be the judge. I'm not your financial advisor. Tim's not your financial advisor. You be the judge. But this can help you if you don't have any strategy at all. At least you'll have some sort of strategy, right?
Yep, absolutely. And you know what, Nate? I think that it's something that can be scary for someone who hasn't done this before. And thank you so much for all of that, because it is so important to understand that here are some steps and here are some guidelines to get you started about thinking about a strategy to reverse your dollar cost averaging out. But the thing is you've got to write it down. The more you do that play in your head without writing something down, I find that when I write something down, it happens according to plan.
That's right. Yeah, and that all goes with the planning, right? And we could probably do a whole video on how to plan it out. But yeah, whether you use an Excel sheet and you put in, okay, this is the date I started this position. This is how many shares I have. This is how much I've spent. And then this is the date I'm going to remove whatever percentage or dollar amount or whatever. And then you just move it down until you're at zero. That's, and that could, in retirement, that takes a lot longer because you'll be taking out about 4% a year and you divide it over 12 months, right?
Right.
But when you're doing like a short-term investment and you want to get out quick, then that'll come over a short period of time.
Yep. That's great. That's great. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking the time to out of your busy schedule to help us understand and sort of put together an idea and an understanding of how to reverse DCA, if it's even worth it, what to do, because we are, depending on who you listen to, we are at different parts of a very exciting time in this run that's going on right now. And sooner or later, it's going to hit the proverbial fan one way or the other. And I think if we don't start talking about it before we get to that holy mackerel moment, then a lot of people are going to be caught with their sats down, right? And we have to try and educate our community to say, don't be procrastinating about this. Start putting it on paper. Watch this video. Watch it again. Watch it again. Watch it again. Do the Excel spreadsheet or something like you just had mentioned there about putting down this price. I'm going to go this percentage out. So you have a plan of attack, right?
Absolutely. And you also need, Tim, which I didn't mention, is if it goes sideways on you. So you need to know, like, okay, I have this dollar cost averaging plan that I'm going to exit at these intervals. But if that stock you're in all of a sudden drops like 30%, like you need to have an exit strategy on that as well. Like and you need to know your markers as you get into a position. You can't just blindly get into a position. Either you're getting into a position and you're saying, all right, I'm going to stick with this for the long haul, no matter where it goes, volatility doesn't matter to me. Or I want to take profit out. But if all your profit gets eaten by, I don't know, a rug pull or something like that, with like that Squid Game token and all those things, right? There's all those things and people still like hope and pray and are like, yeah, this is going to turn out well. Well, sometimes it doesn't. And, Nortel didn't do anyone any favors when it was going down and down and down and people were dollar cost averaging out of it. Like it was going south really fast and everyone was, preying on hopes and dreams, but actually people lost a lot of money because they didn't get out of it. Right. So you got to be careful.
I do remember that. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
But, well, I appreciate it. And folks, are you a lot on social media? You're not, you're sort of on, here's your Instagram, right?
Yep. So you guys can check me up on Instagram. I do post some financial things on there. I also post some things about just our family and our life and just things going on at our house and stuff like that. So
you'll get a lot going on in your house right now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So you'll see a lot more, like a little bit more personal Nathan in that. little bit more personal, Nate. And yeah, so you guys can check me out there if you want.
Well, I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the portion on our little segment that Nate has done on the reverse dollar cost averaging out. Please look for his information listed below. Hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any more great videos from members of our community such as Nate. And Nate, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to help the community out and educate them.
No problem. Always takes a lot of work to get these things together, but you know,